So, I'm on my way home from work today listening to Sean Hannity's radio show in my car. And before you ask me why, let me give you a little background. My dad is an incredibly conservative Christian guy, and I spent most of my childhood with him. And he was a big fan of Rush Limbaugh, and back then in my childhood, before I knew what any of this meant, I was too. And in my adulthood, I continue to listen to Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity, if only to just get really pissed off, because I don't agree with a goddamn thing that they say. But I can't seem to stop listening to them. So I'm listening to Sean's show today, and he had a pretty amusing topic that I thought might make a decent video, maybe spark a little discussion. Sean Hannity was talking about Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony are a duo of radio shock jocks that used to be based out of New York that now have a Sirius satellite radio Sirius satellite radio show, right? Apparently these guys said something really inflammatory, and there are a bunch of people shouting for them to be fired. And I naturally assumed, having listened to Sean for years and years and years, that he was going to add his voice to that chorus, that he was going to be calling for these guys to be taken off the air, because Sean Hannity and all his cohorts over there on the conservative talk radio circuit and on the Christian right have been some of the most vocal opponents of free expression in media that there are. Constantly denouncing violence in movies, violence in video games, violence in music, questionable content on the TV. Sean Hannity himself was an extremely vocal opponent of Air America Radio, which was a liberal talk radio network. He constantly called them traitors, said that the things that they said amounted to high treason because they were overtly critical of the sitting government. So I naturally assumed that Sean Hannity would have been all for Opie and Anthony getting the boot. Imagine my surprise when, in response to a caller, Sean defended Opie and Anthony's right to freedom of expression over the airwaves. Shock. Apparently, on the radio, it's okay to say whatever you want, because radio needs to remain an open forum. He said, and I'll paraphrase here, but trust me, the sentiment is going to be dead on balls. He said in response to this caller that if it means that radio remains an open forum, that he's willing to let Opie and Anthony say whatever they want, because if they say something that you don't like, you can reach down and turn your radio off. Gotta fucking agree with you there, Sean. Only problem is that I've always held that position, and I also think that it applies to movies, music, television, video games. You gotta wonder why Sean's position is so vastly different about radio. Could it be, and I'm just gonna toss this out there, could it be that Sean knows that if there's a groundswell in this country against radio personalities saying inflammatory things, could it be that Sean knows that it's only a matter of time before somebody flags his hateful, spiteful, fear-mongering horseshit? Could it be that he knows that it's only a matter of time before somebody takes offense to the garbage that he spews every fucking day? Could it be that he's afraid that his job might be in jeopardy? Gotta love that shifting moral high ground on the Christian right.